Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Xbox On Awards. Please welcome your hosts, Benny and Lydia.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the annual Xbox On Awards. Tonight we're celebrating the year of 2017, and I'm joined by my co-host Lydia. Tell me who you're wearing.
Tonight, Benny, I'm wearing crutches by the NHS.
Well, it's always nice to dress up for the Xbox On Awards, and from the best games to the biggest shocks, we're going to take a look at all the moments that made 2017.
So without further ado, let's get on with the show.
Our first category recognises the year's goriest moments, and they've put me off jam sandwiches for good. I hope you like blood. Boundaries were definitely pushed this year. In Outlast 2, we got off with a bang when a lanky old lady carved out your groin with a pickaxe. If you were wondering what that looks like, well, there it is. Spurting. I don't even think that's safe for YouTube, so sorry YouTube. Meanwhile, over in Nazi-stuffed shooters, Sniper Elite and Wolfenstein, you could really get your own back in the most painful ways possible. Whether that's at long range or extremely close and very deadly ranges. Take that, you villain. You were just on the wrong side of history. Kind of like how your nose is now on the wrong side of your face. Hey, a hatchet to the head will do that to you. However, there could only be one winner. Resident Evil 7 put you through the ringer with neck breaks, chainsaw amputations, and incredibly gross food. Honestly, this haunted house must have the most detailed gone-off nom-noms in all of video games. Check out this fridge. How long have they been left there? Well done on winning this award and all, Resi, but what did we do to deserve this?
We were introduced to some incredible firearms in 2017. I mean, guns that just go bang bang is so 2016. Here's our award for the best.
Praise Glue Cannon kicked off 2017 with Death and DIY. Not only does it stick enemies in place, letting you wallop them in the face, but its adhesive ammo doubles as platforms. With this baby, nowhere was beyond your reach. Probably good for fixing all those mugs you're breaking too. I also like to get Even's corner gun, a gun which, you guessed it, lets you shoot around corners. As someone who likes to play games on coward difficulty, the ability to murder from behind a box was a treat. At the opposite end of the subtlety spectrum is Wolfenstein 2's giant laser beam, a device that's so powerful it melts Nazis on the spot. Hey, at least you don't have any mess to tidy up afterwards. All strong candidates, but this year's award has to go to Destiny 2's arsenal of life takers. We could argue for days about which is the best gun. Everyone on the team has their own favourites. We have a real fondness for Sunshot, especially as it turns its victims into solar bombs, causing even more death and destruction. And it's very hard to argue with Nameless Midnight, with those explosive rounds chewing up the competition in the Crucible. Guns of Destiny 2, we salute you. When you aren't being fired into our face, of course.
The Xbox One X made your games look even better in 2017, just like we made your YouTube better, but here are the best Xbox One X enhanced games of the year. Picking a winner here is like picking your favourite breed of dog. All dogs are beautiful, just as all games on the Xbox One X are beautiful. And Ghost Recon Wildlands took us to an updated Bolivia with its gorgeous lighting effects and increased draw distance. Going up in a chopper gave you a full 360-degree view of the luscious South American landscape. It appears the conspiracy theorists were right. The Earth is indeed flat. Anyway, just look at that sunset. It's the colour of lovely plums. You almost forget you're here to take down cutthroat drug barons. I bet David Attenborough does the same when he films his nature documentaries. Never forget the cutthroat drug barons. Gears of War 4 is absolutely stunning too, especially in the moonlight. It's night a lot in this game, and that's a stylistic choice. Because how else would the developers show off your character's shiny guns glinting in the darkness? Explosions really pop against that HDR sky. And meanwhile, Assassin's Creed Origins doesn't just look better, it runs better. With quicker transitions between you and your eagle, and less scenery pop up, even when you take Senu right into the clouds. I never get tired of that. But we're giving first on the podium to Forza 7 for achieving that rare distinction, 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. It's a technological powerhouse, and if I was wearing a hat, I would most certainly tip it in the direction of developers turn 10. You almost need a seatbelt just to watch this footage.
Due to my mortality, I'm getting worse by the day, but these games are only getting better. Here's our award for Most Improved Game.
Many games returned with a vengeance this year. Some developers didn't abandon their games after release, but ploughed on with them, supporting them months and even years after the release. Much like a mother would support a stay-at-home kid who is yet to leave the nest, but less sad. IO regularly added fresh contracts to Hitman, and pushed you to come up with all manner of creative kills in order to complete them. The returning Festive Palace mission is one of my all-time favourites. You have to kill 2 thieves who are named suspiciously close to the burglars in Home Alone. Overwatch is regularly inundated with similarly free content, be it character skins, map overhauls, and new modes themed around public holidays. The Christmas one in particular is grand. I'm feeling all jingle bellsy just looking at Winston's Yeti costume. Battlefield 1 also continually rediscovered its awesome with a clutch of brilliant DLC. Almost every month there's been something new to download, from ravaged French trenches to bombarded Russian streets. Our winner in the most improved category though is Rainbow Six for one reason. It's completely transformed since the December 2015 release. With a bunch of free stages, loads of new counter-terrorism units, improved visuals, and a steady stream of balancing patches, Rainbow Six Siege launched as a decent tactical shooter and is now a supremely entertaining and finely honed esport, whether you're a player or spectator.
In 2017, we've laughed,
We've cried,
and we've lost some true greats.
so let's pay respects to some fallen heroes.
But now it's time to move on to the Best Multiplayer Award, because there's no better feeling than when you're beating someone else on a leaderboard. Multiplayer doesn't have to mean pretending to murder your fellow man. Ghost Recon Wildlands taught us the important lesson that 4 Special Forces badasses are better than 1, especially when you have the entire country of Bolivia to take care of. Devising a tactical approach and executing the plan with aggressive precision was a real co-op thrill. Much less precision was involved in tackling Cuphead with 2 players. However, on paper, having 2 characters should make life much easier, as you can bring each other back from the dead. In reality, Cuphead is so damn hard that it caused huge rows between me and Lydia, but make it through these bosses and you'll be bonded for life. We also had great fun with Halo Wars 2's Blitz mode, a brilliant introduction to strategy games that stripped out the base building and made it all about unit matchups. It felt like Halo Wars at its most purest, and we still hop onto it to play it now. But for our winner, there can be only one. It's the newest game on our list, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Yes, the biggest PC game in the world right now has recently parachuted onto the Xbox One, and we are already hooked. The idea is simple: 100 people battle to be the last survivor on a giant island of death. But the sheer number of ways the battles can play out, based on the loot you find or the location you land, makes this feel like a different game every single time you play. It's in early access as part of the game preview program, but that means it's only going to get better with time. So jump in and just go easy on me if you see me, please.
Now, let's take a moment to celebrate the greatest backwards compatible games of the last year. The only way you could kill these classics is if you gathered up all the discs and fired them into the sun. Here's our award for greatest back compat game of the year.
If you told me in January that I'd be playing my original Xbox copy of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time on Xbox One in December, I'd have nodded politely and backed away slowly. But I'd have been wrong. Xbox performed time rewinding magic worthy of the Prince himself by bringing a selection of OG Xbox games to Xbox One. They look and play beautifully, well worth dusting those discs off. I also had no idea that we'd see 360 classics like Halo 3 and Fallout 3 get an Xbox One X enhanced makeover. Code Wizardry punches some 10-year-old games up to native 4K. That's insane! This year also saw more 360 classics added to the back compat service. I was really happy to revisit the brutal horrors of Dead Space 2, but our overall winner has to go to one of the most demanded games on Xbox One, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I know that Benny was over the moon to return to his old online stomping grounds, tearing up some of the best Call of Duty maps ever made. Black Ops 2 also has a mix of weapons and skills that empower you without entering the realms of sci-fi madness seen in the games that followed. No magic mech men here. This was a huge tick on our back compat wishlist and a clear winner.
The next category is for most amazing power, and we've seen loads in 2017. Apart from the power to mute Benny. It's open soon, huh? Anyway, let's take a look at the winner.
Okay, let's get weird. The powers we got to play with this year are very wide-ranging. In South Park, you could call on the talents of projectile farting, throwing your bum gas at faraway things to interact with them. The distance he reaches, frankly, stunning. Like, I didn't even know that was possible. Check it out, you can fart on Stan, you can fart on his sister, and you can fart on his dad. South Park is a game where you can fart on an entire family. In non-farting news, Assassin's Creed Origins lets you summon an eagle to do your bidding. You get the best views of Egypt from up here. Come on, Senu, that's a good eagle. If I was an eagle, I would scratch so many people. And Dishonored's Death of the Outsider expansion that lets you steal people's faces, just like in that 90s Nick Cage movie where people's faces come off. Yeah, but I've forgotten the name. Our winner though is Prey, which takes that one step further and lets you turn into anything, face or not. Mug? Check. Bottle of wine? Check. Desk chair? Double check. Be what you want, apart from Lydia, because that's called identity theft, and we frown upon that here at Xbox On.
And now it is time for the Best Explosion Award of 2017. And the only explosions I want to see are virtual ones, none of this actual nuclear war stuff.
Whenever I hear an explosion in a game, I immediately open up my notebook and jot down how loud and scary it was. And on Benny's big explosion scale, these bad boys rank at the very, very top. Now, I love the PUBG carpet bombs in the red zone. I mean, apart from when I'm caught up in them, they may look small, but trust me, when you're all alone on a big island with 100 homicidal maniacs, any bang is terrifying. My advice here is to listen to the sound. The further away the bangs are, the quieter they get. That's called science. And shooting a grenade off a soldier's belt in Sniper Elite 4 is always a delight. You have to have pinpoint accuracy, but the results speak for themselves. Let's see another one. And boom. And that's why you should never walk around with things that can explode on your belt. Try one of these non-exploding belts next time, yeah? Because they're just safer. Oh, and who can forget Firestorm Special in Injustice 2? He's literally made of explosions. Only someone in body-hugging Lycra could survive that, although Harley's walk away after winning ranks pretty highly, extra points for the slow-mo. Riding highest on my scale though is this set piece from Call of Duty World War II. It's the clear winner. You have to survive deep in the snowy German forests as mortars rain down and trees splinter around you. Oh, and people are also shooting at you too, and everyone is swearing, and you spilt some rations down your leg. Everything is going off at once, making this a terrifyingly visceral moment. Play this with headphones for a proper treat, and trust me, Benny's big explosion scale is never wrong.
It's time for the Achievement Award now, proving the best way to get me to do something is to play a little sound after I've finished. Let's take a look at the winner.
Our favourite achievements are the one that challenge us to think about a game differently. Take Tacoma, where achievements send you on a scavenger hunt for different objects hidden around the space station, or ask you to dunk a skull in 0G. Sadly, in space, no one can hear your bleep bloop. I also enjoyed Call of Duty World War II's mission-specific chivos, like having to sprint up the beach without taking any damage, or keeping a tank safe in the middle of a very tank-unfriendly zone. We also toyed with giving this award to Shadow of War, by challenging us to bring down a Drake whilst fighting a Graug, or shaming some poor orcs so many times that you drove them to insanity. All great fun, and all great gamer score boosters. But our winner this year is Overwatch. Yes, we know it's a game from 2016, but Blizzard's shooter once again showed everyone how it's meant to be done. Every new character or event comes with new achievements to push your mastery of the game to the max. Whether it's pulling people into huge damage with Orissa's Halt or hitting 7 targets simultaneously with Moira's Coalescence. Yes, most of these achievements had us eating our own fists in anger, but there's no denying the amount of love that go into them.
The vehicles in our best vehicles category don't get stuck in traffic because they're the best vehicles, not the most stuck in traffic vehicles. Let's take a look at the winner.
It's probably a safe bet that the best vehicles of the year will be in Forza 7. It's a driving game and that's what you do, and it's unsurprisingly got loads of vehicles in. Some are new and shiny and some are covered in leaves. Just leaves. I often like to paint my car up in leaves before I race around the Maple Valley track because I'm harder to see and therefore harder to beat. Camouflage. That's not to say I don't love driving some slightly older and more ancient vehicles, such as Assassin's Creed Origins Chariot. What it lacks in an engine, it makes up for in horsepower. 4 horses to be exact. To tell you the truth, I've always preferred ramming other people than I like driving, which is why I love the Chariot Racing Arena. And Battlefront 2's space dogfights are the culmination of an 18-year-old dream. I've wanted to pilot one of these bad boys ever since I saw a Star Wars film for the very first time. From A-Wings to Vulture droids, you can drive and barrel roll with these nimble crafts. It's the most thrilling aerial combat in any Star Wars game, and in any other year it would win the award. But this is a year containing Halo Wars 2, and Halo Wars 2 features the Banished Scarab. Not just one Scarab either, several Scarabs. This mother of all weapons of mass destruction stomps on units and fires them with lasers. Look at how big it is. Look how many legs it's got. It's the obvious winner.
The best villain of 2017 is even more evil than the devil and spiders combined. Let's bring him out.
Yep, 2017 was the year that evil brought its A-game. Halo Wars 2 gave us one of the best baddies the franchise has seen in years in the form of Atriox. The guy was so tough he could eat Halo 4's Didact for breakfast, and still have room left over for Halo 5's Warden Eternal. Sure, we smashed his army, but it was great to have a proper big bad to bounce off. I also have to give a shout out to the horrible Frau Engels, returning from the first Wolfenstein with an even more sadistic streak. She isn't one of those comedy Nazis that you get in the Indiana Jones films, but a really nasty piece of work who is worryingly handy with an axe. When she turns up, no body part is safe. When my next nomination turns up, no Xbox controller is safe. Cuphead's Grim Matchstick is responsible for more broken controllers than any boss I've played. Okay, the devil is the big bad of the game, but I found this fire-breathing sod even harder. Of course, there can only be one winner, and we've picked one of the most legendary villains there is, Friday the 13th's Jason. He's a classic movie monster brought to life in this vicious twist on online deathmatch. It's a team of hopeless teenage campers against the unstoppable might of Jason. Watching him slowly stomp towards you is enough to turn you into one of those headless chickens that normally irritate you up on the screen. No, don't hide in the cabin, you big idiot! Have you never seen a horror movie before? This is survival horror at its best. Now, who's up for a Nightmare on Elm Street game?
And now it's time to close off the show with the best game of 2017, and you can all stop watching after that.
This has been an incredible year for gaming. Whatever genre you're into, there's something here for you. Resident Evil 7 dominated the early part of the year, filling our gaming time with intense first-person survival horror and invading our dreams with all these nightmarish images. We're still trying to build up the courage to jump into the brand new DLC. Then there was the brilliant Cuphead, dazzling us with hand-drawn animations and the kind of difficulty that hasn't been seen around these parts since the Mega Man days. It's a hard game but never unfair, asking you to learn boss habits and spot incoming moves from the amazing animations. The feeling of joy when you knock them out is unmatched in 2017. And you can't talk games of the year without hopping into a Porsche 911 GT2 RS and tearing up the tarmac on a photorealistic rendition of Dubai. As stunning as it looked on Xbox One, Forza 7 was the perfect showcase for the Xbox One X, showing us the series' biggest ever collection of cars in 4K at 60 frames per second. The game is pure luxury. But there can only be one winner, and for the majority of the Xbox On team, that game was Assassin's Creed Origins. taking a bit of time off has worked wonders for the series. It now has more in common with an open world RPG, complete with tasty loot and a complex skill tree. And what a world to explore, and where else could you skid down a pyramid, dive into beautiful blue bays and try to survive the harsh heat of the desert? We feel like we're still uncovering its secrets months after release, especially now that we're pumping those landscapes through an Xbox One X. Whatever you're playing it on, this is an epic adventure, the stuff of legends in every single way.
So sadly, we come to the conclusion of the Xbox On Annual Awards. We've had a great time. Lydia has worn the NHS crutches beautifully, and I've hoped you've enjoyed the awards. Make sure to let us know what you think down in the comments below, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button.
And don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. We will see you lots more next year. Bye. Guys!